So I have a list of things that go in my trailer, and one of them is a list of stuff that goes in my vet box. And I have a box that stays in the trailer all the time, and it's got a bunch of veterinary equipment and tools in it. Probably if you travel a lot with your horses, it helps to have a little vet kit in your trailer. I like to have one that stays in the trailer all the time. And I like to have one that stays in the barn, and that way doesn't matter if my trailer's gone, there's one at the barn to cover the horses there. And then if I'm hauling horses or whatever, I've got the trailer with me, I've got one there. So I like to have two. Now, I was going over those and kind of making sure I had a bunch of stuff in there. And my intern was like, what that? And so I've got in one of my boxes, I opened it up, and there's a bunch of syringes, needles for giving vaccinations and any injections that you need. And alongside of it was a bunch of these. These are suture kits. They've got the suture material and the needle already attached in a sterile pack. And so, works really good if you need to sew something up. And it's probably beyond the scope of quite a few people, probably the average person. But, if you have some, there might be somebody there that's got the skills to do that. And they might not have their equipment with them. So if you have that equipment, kind of a handy deal. And if you can stitch either your own horse up or yourself, if it came to being a necessity, kind of a handy deal. So she was like, how do you do that? So I have a piece of fake skin. This is a fake practice skin, and you can cut it. You can see that there's some cuts there, and she has learned how to stitch those. And there's several stitches, and she's got pretty good at it. She watched me do it. The part of the fun of teaching interns is I've practiced, and I actually had a client of mine that taught me how to do suturing. He actually ran a nursing school, so that was pretty cool. Anyway, she watched me do it. I kind of demonstrated it and did one, and then passed I have some needle drivers and forceps and stuff over there to her, and she proceeded to tangle everything up, and it kind of came apart. And so it was fun watching her learn it. But she has got pretty good at it now. So I'll kind of show you what she's learned. And like I say, it's not for everybody, but it's good to have some of the equipment if your horse got injured that you could kind of, and especially just the bandages. Having bandages and some blood stop and some basic necessities for first aid is something I think everybody should carry in their trailer. And then, I always like having several steps up from basic. Like I say, I've got some suturing material and surgical staples. I think surgical staples are a really good thing to have on hand. I'll post a link to a time when I was actually in Africa and got to use them. So I'll link that to the video you can watch. And don't be worried about having stuff that's maybe above your skill level. There's probably going to be somebody around, especially if you're at a show, that's maybe a vet tech or a vet or somebody, and they might not have all the materials that they would normally have with them. But if you have those materials in your vet box, then they can go ahead and use your stuff. I was actually at a show, and somebody got their horse got injured, and there was a vet there, and they were like, "Oh man, I don't have my vet box with me." And I said, "Oh man, what do you need?" And they said, "Oh man, I need some sutures and this and that." And I had all the things that they needed, and they were a little surprised that I had all that stuff in there. So it helped the vet take care of that horse, and the owner didn't have to call another vet and incur so much expense. So anyway, we're gonna show you what she's been working on. Are you ready to sew?
Yeah.
Hey, she thought she could sew before, and now she can really sew. All right, so show us what you got.
Oh boy.